So, guys, yesterday, a news came out that Bola Tinubu, as a matter of fact, is planning to invoke Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution to actually, halt the final judgment that Justice James Omotosho is going to give on the 20th of November, being 2 days from now, being on Thursday. And a lot of people are wondering, how possible is it? What are the contents or the context of this particular Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution? I'm going to explain everything to you here, and equally show you the letter that Bola Tinubu was sent and all that he should actually, invoke this part of the Constitution and tell the Attorney General of the Federation, being Latif Fabemi, to immediately invoke this part of the Constitution. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to, explain to you clearly what this particular section of the Constitution says. And as a matter of fact, if it happens, that means before 20 or before next tomorrow, Bola Tinubu might order Justice James Omotosho to discontinue the trial of Nnamdi Kanu and set him free unconditionally. And again, I'm going to equally reveal to you, remember this pastor from the Yoruba, from the Southwest region, who came out and said that Igbos are cursed, that Igbos are the problem of the country, and all that. He came today and started, sending some sort of apology or trying to, pamper or probably twist what he said against the Igbos. I'm going to read to you his apology or whatever thing he calls it to the Igbos and all that. But meanwhile, before, we talk about that one, let me show you the letter that Bola Tinubu was sent and what the section 174 of the Constitution says. And also, please, before I do that, do well to subscribe. It will cost you absolutely nothing. I've said it here, to tap on the like button, subscribe to our channel, click on the notification button, because like I said, this particular few days is going to be a very decisive, days for Nnamdi Kanu. So do well to subscribe and equally type freedom for Nnamdi Kanu in the comment section. That is the only way we can, encourage him and equally support him from our respective, locations. Now, let's delve straight to the point. Now, let me read a letter that was sent to Bola Tinubu on invoking this particular section 174 of the 1999 Constitution. This particular letter was sent to him by Honorable, Obina Agwacha, who is a member representing Nnamdi Kanu's constituency. Now, let us read. He said, and I quote, as you can see on the screen, "A plea for national healing and constitutional prudence, invocation of Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution in the prosecution of Nnamdi Kanu. I write to you not merely as a concerned citizen, but as an elected and committed national stakeholder, watching a dangerous fire spread across the foundation of our national union. The continued prosecution and detention of Nnamdi Kanu have evolved into a constitutional, political, and security quagmire, one tied not by law but by entrenched fear, hardened positions, and escalating regional tension. It is time to cut these Gordian knot through the prudent and statesmanlike invocation of Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution as amended." Now look at what the Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution says, that the Attorney General's plenary power as a constitutional safety valve, that Section 174, which empowers the Attorney General of the Federation, being AGF, to enter a nolli prosequi, that is a formal notice of discontinue a criminal prosecution, is far more than a procedural formality. It is a constitutional safety valve crafted precisely for moments when the rigid pursuit of prosecution threatens to imperil the broader national interest. Now, let me read part of the 1999 Constitution before I continue with this letter that was sent to Bola Tinubu, so you understand what this particular part of the 1990, this part of Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution says. It says, here is the exact text of the Section 174, verbatim, that the Attorney General of the Federation shall have power, number one, to institute and undertake criminal proceedings against any person before any court of law in Nigeria other than a court martial, in respect of any offense created by or under any act of the National Assembly. B, that the Attorney General to take over and continue any such criminal proceedings that may have been instituted by any other authority or person. And lastly, look at the C, which Bola Tinubu is asked to invoke, that the Attorney General can, discontinue at any stage before judgment is delivered any such criminal proceedings instituted or undertaken by him or any other authority or person. That the Attorney General of the Federation can discontinue a case or trial before the final stage of judgment, that he has the prerogative of right to actually do that. Now, a lot of people are asking, how is it that you're not saying that it is Bola Tinubu that has the right? Now, remember that the Bola Tinubu, the president, is the person that appoints the Attorney General of the Federation. So before the Attorney General of the Federation can actually discontinue a case, it is, a norm that the president must have given a nod or a go ahead. So all the power lies within the president, because he is the one that appoints the Attorney General of the Federation. The Attorney General of the Federation is under him. So if Tinubu gives a go-ahead order to invoke this section 174 before Thursday, definitely on or before Thursday, this particular case will be discontinued, which is what a lot of people are asking Bola Tinubu, that you should actually save yourself. What Obi Agocha was actually saying there is that this particular part of the constitution is not necessary in this Nnamdi Kanu's case, because one, this case poses a lot of national in fact, will affect the national security and interest of the nation, because a lot of things are actually in stake. You cannot convict him, because if you convict him, you will see the kind of protest or probably a lot of things that are actually happening in the country. So, in the sake of national interest, Obi Agocha is telling Bola Tinubu that he should invoke this section of the 1999 Constitution, being Section 174, to stop whatever impending chaos that James Omotosho is planning to do. Because what James Omotosho is intending to do is to sentence Nnamdi Kanu, because like I told you, probably he's working for the Northerners. I don't know who he's working for, but he is hell-bent on doing this, which is going to throw the country, or probably throw everywhere, into chaos if he does that. Meanwhile, let us continue with what the letter that Obi Agocha sent to Bola Tinubu, so that you could see what he actually said. I'll just summarize some of the things he said. So he now went ahead to say that the Supreme Court in Lorry versus the state affirmed that the discretion is almost unassailable and exists to be deployed where the continuation of a criminal trial would inflict more harm on society than any alleged wrongdoing. So he's giving Bola Tinubu the reasons to actually invoke this constitution, that if this particular trial continue, or probably this judgment is given, that it will inflict more harm on the society than any alleged wrongdoing. This is why Obi Agocha is sending Bola Tinubu this message. You could see the thousands of messages he actually posed to Bola Tinubu in this particular letter. If I'm going to read them, let me read some of them. He said, when prosecution becomes a threat, number 2. Okay, he said, Your Excellency, the ongoing prosecution has ceased to serve the ends of justice. Instead, it has become a deadweight, shackled to the nation's feet, aggravating tensions and endangering collective peace. The constitutional tripod guiding the AGF's discretion, public interest, the interest of justice, and the need to prevent abuse of legal process, all coverage on one inescapable conclusion: the prosecution must be discontinued. When prosecution becomes a threat, the constitutional duty to intervene. The situation in the Southeast has deteriorated into a humanitarian, economic, and social crisis. The pervasive sit-at-home paralysis has devastated commerce, strangled educational institutions, and suffocated the region's economic lifeblood. Fear rather than law now governs daily life. He's telling Bola Tinubu that you all know that freeing this particular man and discontinuing this particular trial will bring a heavy improvement in the entire Southeast, especially the sit-at-homes, insecurities, and a lot of things that actually happen in the Southeast region. Because when you are telling the president to invoke a part of the constitution, especially Section 174, to discontinue a trial, you must give him concrete reasons to do that. And this is what Obi Agocha is doing, telling Bola Tinubu, look at, continue this case will throw this country into chaos, and again it will crumble the entire Southeast, which has actually been facing a lot of insecurities due to the detention of this particular man. Because a lot of criminals hijack the opportunity to be perpetrating evil and all sorts of things against the communities in that particular localities. So he's giving evidence and upon evidence why Bola Tinubu must invoke that section of the 1999 Constitution, which is basically literally the truth. So we'll see if Bola Tinubu will invoke this part of the Constitution, before Thursday being the 20th of this particular month, because he needs to do that. Justice James Omotosho is actually working or probably playing out a script, which a lot of people are scared that if you give this particular judgment, this country might actually be thrown into a lot of issues or public chaos. Meanwhile, you remember this primate Elijah Ayodele, who came out and said the Igbos are cursed, the Igbos are desperate to be the president, that they cannot be the president, blah blah blah, that Igbos are the problem of the country. He's a Yoruba man. I made a video of him when he was making that silly utterance, saying the Igbos. Meanwhile, it was the Northerners that actually planned a coup against Bola Tinubu. The insecurity in the country is much and too much and overwhelming in the northern part of the country. They've been wasting our money. Every day now and then they are negotiating with bandits. How many terrorist groups do you have in the north? But this particular man left all those ones and said that Igbos are the problem. Now, after he got a lot of backlash and backlash and criticism from people, he decided to put out a statement. Let me read out what he said. He said, I have observed that my message about a course affecting the chances of the Igbos for their presidential ambition has been grossly misunderstood and misinterpreted. In some quarters, it's been perceived as my hatred for the tribe and my support for the current administration. Sorry, before I read out this thing, I want to tell people that the Igbos they don't care about your presidency, and you people should stop threatening us with this nonsense presidency and all that, because you think that we are begging you people for the seat of the presidency, and that is why any small thing they'll come and tell you an Igbo man cannot be the president, thinking they can use it to always blackmail them. Let me complete his statement. He said, it is important for me to clarify that there has never been a time when my messages or prophecies express my hatred for any tribe for whatever reason. I love everyone regardless of their tribe. And this is why my church has a mixture of several tribes and ethnic groups, because we don't segregate. We treat everyone respectfully regardless of what they represent. My statement about the Igbo cause is more of a solution towards getting the presidency than it's been perceived to be. I issue warning to people most of the time, and these warnings, if well followed, will definitely provide solutions to whatever problems it was issued for. I'm not against Igbo presidency, and this is why I share the secret of cleansing the tribe of the cause that has been blocking their progress regarding presidency. What should come after that are questions on how to take off the course in preparation for the 2027 presidential election. But the wrong steps are being taken. I will not speak further on this, but I would just want to tell Promet Ayo, warn him that the Igbos are not interested in their presidency. They should eat their presidency. I blame people because they think we are desperate. They should eat their presidency and allow the Igbos to be, and let the North keep on terrorizing them and public governing them. Well, do have to subscribe. That's all we have for you guys today. We'll bring you more updates.